Alamy, correct? Yes?
Absolutely.
I'm getting good at this. Names have been difficult for me today. I called Tom Ted earlier.
That happens to me all the time, don't worry about it.
So, obviously you're originally from France. The accent kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
So what would you say, I mean, biggest difference between comic books there and comic books here?
Comic books here seem to revolve mostly around the superhero genre. And there's other stuff, there's actually a lot of other stuff, sorry. But for the most part, like the mainstay is really superheroes. That's like the core of American comics. In Europe, we don't have superheroes. We get translations of American comics.
Right.
But comic books are a broader, there's no particular genre, it's just a broad medium. You get a lot of heroic fantasy for the past few years, classic adventure, western, cop stories, war stories, you name it, romance, like different and personal stories also a lot. And there's another difference in format, which is that in Europe, they made a comic book is mainly like a hardcover album.
Gotcha.
And it comes out every 6 months, 9 months, or sometimes even every year. So the reader waits a long time to have like the next issue, basically.
Gotcha.
And yet it works pretty well because people are patient. In the meantime, they do other things. And when it's like more comparable to movies, for example, people waited all the time to get the next Star Wars, and yet they went to see it when it came out. They didn't complain in the meantime. And also they are more expensive, obviously, hardcover.
Gotcha. So, I mean, essentially, overseas, it's more, it's similar to the film over there in the sense that, you know, it's written more, in a way, elegantly, one might say. It's much more.
Well, the idea, that's the idea, to be written more elegantly and all that. In fact, I'm not sure it's a truth every time. You got a lot of stuff which shouldn't see print like you see everywhere. And
exactly.
The good stuff is, you know, few and apart. You know, it's always the same thing. But it is comparable to films in that sense also that people who work in comics there are really considered as authors. There's museums about comics. They get invited on TV to speak about their stuff sometimes. There's a certain status and like, and you don't get called often to work on a character that already existed, that someone else created.
Gotcha.
Often it's a personal creation.
It's very everybody kind of sticks with what they're doing. Nobody's jumping ship on a project.
Pretty much. Often enough, you have like people write and draw their own comics. Or you have a writer and an artist, but for example, you will almost never find an inker being a different person as the penciler. It's usually the same person who follows the whole process.
Very homegrown.
Yes.
That is cool stuff. So, outside of all that, what is your favorite hero in comic books?
I have to go with Blueberry, drawn by Moebius, whose real name is Jean Giraud. This French artist who's been very influential, like internationally for years, mostly with his Moebius work, which is he's worked on designs for films such as Alien. He's done a lot of things, and it's because that's what I was reading when I was younger. And to this day, I've never seen like such a finest Western, such a finest adventure comics, and I go back to it every now and then.
Awesome.
I'm also a huge fan of Tintin, which is like classic European comics, the little reporter blonde with his little hairdo like that and his little dog. It looks simplistic at first, but I read that as a child, I read it as an adult, and the more I read it, the more I find it's the most perfect comic ever made.
Awesome. Is it available in the US?
I know Tintin has been translated in English. I found a few like here in the US. You probably need to go to the specialized store.
Gotcha.
And the Blueberry comic books have been translated back in the 80s by Epic Comics. I don't know why. I've heard somebody else has reprinted that since, but I'm not sure about that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And your favorite Americanized comic book hero?
Americanized? What do you mean?
Well, from like, you know, Marvel, DC.
Oh god. I grew up reading the X-Men. For me, that was like, when I was a kid, that was the ultimate. We're talking about like the whole period of time with Claremont, John Byrne, Dave Cockrum, I mean all that classic stuff which was beautiful. Spider-Man, Can't Escape that, and Batman. Just a big Batman fan.
What are your thoughts on Aquaman?
Oh god, I got a lot of thoughts on Aquaman. I worked on him like around the year 2000, 2001. I was inking Patrick Gleason, who was inking Aquaman in one of the mini reboots of the series. And it was written by Will Pfeiffer, and I thought it was really good. He did great stuff, like the stories were becoming really interesting, a lot of things going on. It was set beautifully, and we really thought like he would pick up. And sadly, it's like the curse of Aquaman.
Yeah,
somehow it never did.
Aquaman just can't make it out of the deep, it seems.
Never did.
It's just...
But hey, the books are still there, you know, so I'm
Exactly.
very happy to have worked on that.
Awesome.
It was really cool.
Comic book movies, do you see them?
Yeah, I do. I usually have to wait until the DVD comes out because I have time to
You're busy man,
movies.
busy man.
But The Dark Knight has to be the best one so far, as far as I'm
very
concerned.
good.
It was a magnificent film. Even if you took away the superhero genre, you're left with a great film.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I enjoyed, of course, Iron Man. I enjoyed like the two first Spider-Man,
Yeah.
the two first X-Men. I haven't seen Watchmen. to this
Watchmen
day.
was I thought it was excellent.
So I'm waiting patiently for the DVD to come out. And next year, or early 2011, hopefully a nice Green Lantern
Yes.
in a theater near you.
If you're listening, DC, if you're watching this, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
I want Jon Stewart too, actually.
There we go. He's on the bandwagon.
I want them both. I want Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't have one
Brilliant.
without the other.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you again so much for your
You're
time,
welcome.
Christian.
You're welcome.
It's massively
It's a pleasure.
appreciated.